Hello, there we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the King County Regional Homeless Authority's regular meeting of the Continuum of Care / Advisory Committee. The date is December 7th, 2022. The time now is 2:10. I would like to start off with reading of offering a land acknowledgement. So the King County Continuum of Care Board acknowledges that the work on the unceded traditional land of Coast Salish peoples, especially the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, the original stewards of this land, past and present, we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. This acknowledgement only becomes meaningful when we combine accountable relationships and informed actions, and is a first step of honoring the land we are on and their people. So I will plan for this session. I want to update originally on the agenda, in which you may have received from the website. We will not be having today a conversation on the 5-year planning. We, however, will be receiving our quarterly report from our System Performance Committee. I would like to start off by quickly going through a roll call. Catherine, can you lead us on that?
Sure. Tamara Bowman,
Here.
Reverend Dr. Kelly Brown, Jenna Burgoyne, Lise Castro,
Here.
Shanae Colston,
Here.
Brianna Franco, Christy Hamilton. I have her as absent today via email. Marisol Tapia Hopper, Benjamin Mishk, Noreen Hill Oneida, Linda Peoples, Christina Selwicki, Robin Tasuda, Karen Taylor,
Here.
Sherry Tillman,
They have a program
Here.
in parenting.
Marvin Futrell,
Here,
at present, we have 6 members.
all righty, thank you. Let's move on to the review of the November meetings. Did everyone have an opportunity to review the meetings? Minutes? All righty. I don't believe we have quorum. However, I will nod general consent that we have meetings when we next meet and have a full quorum. We can ratify them. So they won't be on the website until we meet next again, just following the holidays.
Just to confirm, we will confirm these at our January 4th or 4th.
Fourth, yeah.
Okay,
I'm all over the place. with
got it.
this.
Okay.
Ready. So I will move toward opening up public comment. As always, our Continuum of Care keeps public comment open throughout the meeting. The verbal original offer is for the next 10 minutes. If there's other comments you have, please write it into chat or raise it, and we will bring your question to the board.
I have one hand raised. Deborah Sreebring.
Hello, thanks. Just a quick note on the previous minutes that are draft that I know you're not voting on. It looked like toward the end of them, there was a vote, but you didn't have quorum. So just that either people were added and you did have quorum, or the vote, you just have to be clear that the vote wasn't a real vote. So before you finalize that.
Thank you. I want to make sure that I'm taking away the step that is in question. When the public meeting started, we did not have quorum. We did announce throughout the meeting when other members joined and we received quorum, and then we executed that vote.
Thanks.
But
That's
we'll-
probably the part that needs clarification, is that it's that people were added. Yeah, thanks.
To make sure we acknowledge. Are there other hands?
I don't see hands, but I have Benjamin Schroeder. There you go.
Hello. I'm here to say hi and find out more about the COC board and what all you're doing, and with an interest in possibly getting involved in the future.
Great, welcome, Ben. Any other hands? I don't see them in the grad gallery. However, I
I
do
don't
see
see
one
anyone.
chat.
Yeah, that was Ben.
Got it.
I don't see any other hands raised.
Well, thank you. Once again, please feel free to let us know if there's a question that you have for our continuum of care. We don't keep public comment regulated to 10 minutes, as we are here together in community to solve problems. We'd like to hear from you. Up next on the agenda is applications for new members. Shanae, you want to lead that?
You're muted.
We can't hear you.
Tamara, we can't hear you either. Is everyone purposely muted?
Mhm.
So you can hear it. Do you want to lead the discussion? You want to continue or further expand on the discussion of removal of the board members and application for new members and our subcommittees?
Yeah, we want to have that right now. That's fine. I can do that.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
look, the fact of the matter is that when we first got this board and when we were first created, that we were all appointed and voted into these positions. There was an application process that was equitably done. And so at this time, we have taken attendance records from then and then excluded to this year from, I believe, March until recently as of this meeting. And what we noticed that there's about 5 or 7 members. I won't name them here because that's a private conversation, I believe. I don't know how that goes, to be honest. But members aren't showing up. They haven't been here. In the list that we have is there's about 5, like I said, 5 to 6 members that have consistently not been here for the last 7 meetings. Per our charter, they will be voted out, right? We have to have people who are committed and passionate to do this work. And although we recognize that the hours have increased of the duties and what it calls, we've sent out multiple emails in the last couple of months letting people know that we needed to step up and show up, and that still hasn't been done. And so with that, me and Marvin have chosen to hear the voice of the board members that they want the full set of people here that are committed and can join us at the beginning of the year to, be educated and knowledgeable in the work that we're doing. And so with that, we'll be holding a vote to vote those members out. As you guys know from the last meeting, we have created an application process. Will be posted to the KCRHA website. That application process will be held to hold those 5 to 6 seats of those people being dismissed from these duties, as well as the 3 upcoming ones that we'd already discussed previously in regards to an incarceration seat, a funder seat, and a disability seat. So potentially we'll have 8 openings for people to fill. Again, that'll be an application process that is able to be done, and then interviews will happen, and those people will again, be voted and appointed into those seats in an equitable manner per our charter and policies and procedures. Are there any questions in regards to that? I can't see hands if there are, you guys.
Right, I
Just-
was about to say
I
that.
do not see any.
Hands, no
So
questions.
Sky asked when the application will go up. Currently, that application is in review. We reviewed it as a board on our last meeting, and we have some adjustments that we wanted to make it more inclusive and more equitable. We're working with Alex Ibrahim at KCRHA to make that happen, and we hope to have that posted by the beginning of the year.
That's the plan, and when Shanae and I confirm that the changes that the board requested are actually made, it will be posted up.
Correct. Are there any other questions? We want to invite you all to apply. If that's something that you have a passion for, right, there'll be details on the website, but this is about an 8-hour commitment a month and maybe a little more depending on the work that needs to be done and holding others accountable in their roles. And so there's also subcommittees that are assigned as well, not just the board membership, that you'll be responsible for signing up and joining and hosting and giving feedback and bringing that information back here to the public and to the board. And so just to give you guys an idea, you know, we want to catch all marginalized population. Lived experience is at the forefront of our lens that we're using in this application process. So we do encourage all those to apply. Even if you don't think that you meet the standards or the status quo, please apply because you might be the person we're looking for.
Thanks.
That's all.
Shanae. Thank you. Another piece of our upcoming board maintenance and something that we want to make sure we're always staying ahead for is Daniel Smith on the line.
Yes.
It covers how we offer our stipends and work around that so that folks with lived experience are actually paid for their participation. Daniel?
Thank you so much, Marvin. Yes, anyone who is needing help with the stipends, please let me know. You can always reach me at daniel@wearelec.org. The stipends cycles are the 15th and the last day of the month, for those who are unaware. I do see a few lovely faces that I can put names to today, so I'm really happy about that. That they get their they get the hours logs in the sufficient time, so that they can be processed. All people are who have lived experience and that sets on these boards are eligible for the stipends. Let's see, if you need assistance with filling out those logs or have any questions, please don't hesitate to give me, to send me an email or give me a call. And my phone number, Kelsey, if you'd be so kind, is 206-734-1843. And I do see some individuals that I've worked with getting those logs filled out and completed in enough time. I do want to remind everyone that at this time, we're doing our year end. So if you have any stipends that you're wanting to do that you have not collected for the calendar year of 2022, you would need to get those in by the December 15th deadline. So just so you're aware, December 15th is the next stipend cycle where you would need to turn the logs into me. And then the last one for the year would be December 31st. So it is the 15th day of the month to have the 15th and the last day of the month to have the logs turned in. And I'll be more than happy. Go ahead.
No, Daniel, it's Karen. Hi. I just wanted to ask, do I turn it in by the 15th? And can I get from Catherine and from Kelsey a list of the meetings? Because I have an issue keeping a record of everything that I'm doing.
Yep, I got you, Karen, on the COC coordinator interview stuff.
Thank you. And also the other meetings and the subcommittee meetings with Tamara and them too.
Yep, I'm happy to coordinate with Catherine to make sure we get that to you.
Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Any closing comments, Daniel?
Yeah, if you, like, again, if you need any assistance or need examples on how to fill out the log, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to help you and also give you additional information on how to fill those logs out.
Great. I just sent you a text. Thank you.
Not a problem.
I'd like to take this moment to acknowledge that another board member, Lise Castro, has joined.
Lise was here.
She was here. Okay, all right.
Hi, I use he and they pronouns and I've been here the whole time.
Great. I just don't want to miss that. Keeping track of this. All righty. Anything else, Daniel?
No, that's all I have.
Okay.
Thank you.
The next agenda item is also a piece which I consider our board maintenance. I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce Susan Sterrett, Derek and Mia Bryan. I thought I went through the name. Sorry about that. Shanae announced at our last meeting that we were speaking to folks that would be offering us a HUD assist in our work and operation. So I want to give time for the group to meet them.
Hi, everyone. My name is Susan Sterrett. I use she, her pronouns. Excited to join you all today. Derek Wentorf and myself joined a meeting of yours back in April, I believe it was, for those who were here. And we talked through the Continuum of Care Board responsibilities as outlined in the COC interim rule. But that's been a while ago. And now we have the opportunity, as you can see, we are here in Seattle. This week, we've been meeting with staff at KCRHA, joining your meeting today. We've been having conversations with Marvin and Shanae over the past couple of weeks. And I'm looking forward to more opportunities to talk with you all and learn more about the work that you're doing, the work that you want to be doing, and how we as technical assistance providers can support you in that. Our role is really to work with both you as the COC board and KCRHA staff at a minimum to ensure that you're meeting the requirements of being the Continuum of Care Board and that KCRHA as the COC collaborative applicant, HMIS lead, coordinated entry implementer, and the COC lead are also meeting minimum requirements. But beyond that, what's the work that you want to be doing, and how can we support that as well? So as I said, we are here on site. This is one of many trips, hopefully, that we'll be making over the next 6 to 12 months. This trip, we have focused a lot on getting to know the staff at KCRHA, the work that they have in front of them right now, as well as the work that's in front of them for 2023. And then in future meetings, and hopefully, I think you're going to talk about a January retreat, coming and kind of having those same conversations with you all about the work that's in front of you and the work that you want to be doing in 2023. And then hopefully also get time with you all and KCRHA staff to talk about the work and how you guys do that work together. So again, super excited to be here to meet you all virtually and hopefully soon in person. Want to offer it up to Derek and Mia if they have anything else to add, and then if there's any questions that you all have.
Just a hello, Derek Wentorf, he, him pronouns. I'm actually a community member in King County and just want to appreciate you all as leaders. Thank you for all of the work that you do, because I know it's a commitment and I'm appreciative of you showing up each month and leading us. And I'm excited to work with you. So look forward to meeting you more.
Hi, everyone, Mia Bryan, and I use she, her pronouns. I'm also providing HUD TA from CSH to support your community. I'm really looking forward to getting to know you guys and doing more work with you. Also, just want to mention I'm based out of the DC metro area, so we'll be going back and forth across the country to be able to support y'all, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Mia. So yeah, just wanted opportunity to open it up to you all if there was any questions or thoughts that you had now. Things that we can be thinking about over the next couple of weeks until we have an opportunity to hopefully come back and spend some more time with you guys in January.
So there is a question in the chat from Ben, and he says, from what I hear, this committee needs to vote on doing it before they can move forward. So stay tuned.
That was regarding the application.
Okay, okay. I don't see any.
Well, I will fill up the time while people get an opportunity to think. Once again, this is the first contact that the board as a whole has had to meet with you. So I want to make sure that we provide that space. But there was an interesting question, and it was an operational question left in the chat. So I want to be clear that if we go back to our minutes, we voted to accept our applications with edits to be made before posting. So the vote did take place. It did take place with quorum, and it was given to Shanae and I to confirm those applicational edits that were presented by the board actually take place and then posting so that we start off the new year and with the right steps. Welcome. I always will ask, how structurally or are you able to help the board achieve the many goals that we set forth? What does that assistance look like?
Sure. I'll start and then Derek and Mia can add on to it. So as of right now, what that work looks like is really dependent upon what you all kind of want to engage us with. We hope to be able to come back on site probably about 4 or 5 more times over the course of the next year, but also providing remote support as well in between those on-site visits. So that could be coming to your advisory committee meetings and helping to lead some discussions around items that you are working through or talking through, providing other examples, reviewing materials with you all, connecting you with peers across the country to hear more about what other communities are doing, what other COC boards are doing. It's a pretty broad range, really, of assistance that we can provide. Again, kind of that's the topic areas and the time commitment. I think some of the conversations that Marvin and Shanae and us have been having are helping you all to kind of think about and plan for the next year around what is your role, how do you support the community in preventing and ending homelessness, recognizing that there's these like very formal responsibilities that you have that are in order to receive the Continuum of Care program funds that come down. So there's some like items that you need to be, things that you need to be able to say, yes, we agree with this, yes, we do this, but also you don't want to just agree to agree, right? Helping think through and kind of organize what that Kelsey's going to be talking about in a little bit in terms of like the COC calendar, what has to happen month to month so that when you get to a final decision, you all have had that input and that decision-making process every step of the way. so that you don't get to a final vote and say, how did this happen? So that's definitely one of the things that, you know, we'd like to be engaged with and have conversations with you all with. So COC board roles, responsibilities, helping thinking through that recruitment process that you're doing, but also orientation, right? Like, I know for me, I need to hear things 3 or 4 times before I fully capture what that is that I'm supposed to do. So what is that orientation? How do you bring in new members? But then you all as well, who have been here for the past year or 2 years on the advisory committee, you know, having that understanding of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. So that's where we hope to be able to help and support you all in this work.
A follow-up, one of the structural pieces that we stumble across is every time we meet as an entire board, it falls under the Public Meeting Act.
Yeah.
We've always requested the ability to have workshops where where we can 5 or 6 meet to discuss, you know, work through a topic. Does remote support actually include pieces like that we can, as a board, see and look and then figure out who needs to be in the space?
Yeah.
And then, you know, bringing it back, you know, in between the visits, I heard about this.
Sure.
So that consistency of connection and work is as important as the volume.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we are not lawyers. We are not well-versed on your public meeting law. So I think being able to have conversations with those who are well-versed on that, on what you can do or can't do under that public meetings law. And one, if you can, hopefully, right, like do some of those small non-quorum type meetings, workshops, activities. We are absolutely able to be here and to support you all with that. You know, like we could have lots of conversations about what those topics are that would be interested. Folks could sign up for them if we need to offer multiple ones so that, right, like it's 6 people at one and 6 people at another, and then figuring out how to bring that information together from those 2 different sessions. Yes, we can absolutely support with all of that as well.
Thank you.
All right, I also don't know where to look, so I did not mean to have my back to you all during that part of that answer.
Do we have any hands up?
No, but can you acknowledge Marisol and Christina, please?
Like to take this moment before we shift topics to welcome Christina and Marisol, 2 board members who are joining us at this moment. And with,
Hold on.
Marvin?
yes,
If I'd like to add to, I know there was a question about scope. I just wanted to add, just for like transparency's sake and just context, that we are also providing technical assistance to KCRHA. So that's in addition to the work that we're doing with this board. We're also providing some support to them as a staff. So there's going to be some separate engagements that are more so related to that, to KCRHA, and there's internal work, the support that their staff need, as well as to this board. So just for context on the different efforts we're going to be engaged in this community.
Great, thank you, Mia. I think Tamara.
thank you.
Oh, I got a hand.
Tamara?
This is Tamara. I'm wondering if you all are able to help us like put together like a messaging campaign to influence public funders and our elected officials to stop sweeping people. That is a massive detriment to the homeless response system. If we keep sweeping people and they keep getting shifted around, their contact information gets lost and the cycle of homelessness continues. So it's a public health issue. It's also a respect issue for the people who are most vulnerable. So I'm wondering if we can work directly with HUD to stop sweeping people. I can't express this more urgently.
Yeah.
There's so many like things out there that show the harm that comes from sweeps.
Yeah.
No, HUD's not sweeping.
I
It's our
agree.
governments that
I
are sweeping.
want to say, this is Karen Taylor.
I have 51%.
I'd
Go
like
ahead,
to say,
Karen.
yeah, I'd like to say too, that I think that some HUD members, members that are continuing to make the decisions for how we and or KCRHA does business need to be in the room. They don't need to be an entity that we cannot directly address and directly work with. If they really believe in the theory of change and the fact that they want to be the change that they want to see and get involved, they need to be sitting down at these tables and being in these meetings with us.
Thank you both Tamara and Karen for those. I will also say I'm not a communications person or a marketing person, but what I think we can do is provide language. We can provide examples from other communities as well that have worked with their local officials around clearances and sweeps. And what has worked and what hasn't worked. Also the HUD field office here in Seattle, I've had conversations with them. They would very much like to be engaged in the work that you are doing. You also have Katie Miller, who is your Western Region representative from the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, who lives here in the county as well. So we can absolutely help make those connections and bring them to meetings so that you can get to meet them and get to know them and do a different type of work, right? Like with them. They have different power and influence than what we do, than what you do. So, right, like let's leverage those connections as well.
I'd like to also follow up and say too that, you know, there's always been this power dynamic that we had to go to the Great Wizard of Oz in order to get the funding, or we had to go through the president or the politicians that are in office, the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, to be given permission to have any power. And I'm saying out with that and in with the new, that we're all the same. Title doesn't make a human any different than another human being. We all bleed red blood and need the same medical care as others, right? And so whether we're disabled, LGBTQ, whether we're from a different culture, I think that building relationships and continuing those relationships is the only way that we can affect the change that we want to see. And so I'm asking for the power dynamic to be flattened. And if you're the liaison or the buffer in between us and power, yes, we definitely need and want to have those people in those positions at these tables with us as we're going day to day, deciding things for our entire community. It's only right.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Karen.
Another message from them. Another message from them in the chat.
So there is another chat message that says, does the city receive homeless assistance grant funds? If they do, we should suggest that sweeps may result in homeless assistant grant funds being distributed elsewhere.
So that's a question and we want to document it. We'll have to actually find out that information because we don't presently hold it. I do want to be clear if our HUD folks that are with us, it is not within my knowledge that HUD conducts sweeps in any way, shape or form.
No.
But I want to acknowledge that one of the things we'd like to do is develop a messaging campaign that doesn't, that replicates that out in our work also.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the Regional Homeless Authority. We solicited HUD funding. We are not in alignment with removals, clearings, or
Right.
sweeps.
Yeah, I think
I don't care how you call it,
Yeah.
don't align there.
Yeah, and neither does HUD and neither does the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness, which I did not draw that connection very clearly in my statement, but no, HUD staff is not in doing sweeps. HUD also does not, nor does the U.S. Interagency Council on Homelessness condone sweeps. And so they have some pretty strong language that they have issued before to elected officials, that they have posted publicly about encampment strategies. And so that's that was the language that I was talking about that we can share with you all. And then that could be used to help kind of bolster whatever your response would be.
Follow-up questions. So he's asked.
Kelsey, you-
Yeah. So there's a follow-up question that Ben posted regarding homelessness assistance grant funds and distribution of those. This committee, the advisory committee, has oversight and connection to our continuum of care funds. Those do not go directly to the city any longer. Those come directly to KCRJ and King County at present. And there are other kind of funding streams that come from the federal government to the city directly that we do not have impact over. So the authority to determine what funds should or should not go to different government entities is not within our purview, nor is that within the purview of the board to determine where those dollars should go. That's not within the oversight of the COC board and advisory committee.
This is Tamara again. Just one more point to make, and I promise I'll stop, but like the criminalization of homelessness, I want to elevate that issue as we move forward in this work. And also outreach to vehicle residents who I have several on my caseload right now who need attention and need support. And they've often been the most overlooked section of the homelessness population. So those things, I think I just wanted to get it out there. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Tamara. I've written those down as areas that we can have discussions and resource work on. Thank you.
anything else for our visitors or from HUD?
Sorry, I just language wise, we are with CSH. We do our work through a cooperative agreement or through funding with HUD. And so we do have communication and work with HUD, but we are not HUD. I don't get that paycheck. I don't have those benefits. So yes, we are HUD technical assistance providers, but not directly payable by HUD.
Well, thank you for joining us today. Looking forward to moving ahead with this. That takes us to our next topic on our agenda, which is our continuum of care annual calendar plan. I believe Jen and Kelsey were going to take the lead on this.
Yes, happy to do so. And also welcome Tamara, Marvin, have been part of some of the NOFO planning. Also really want to, y'all, my words are just leaving me. Pardon my struggling, but really want to invite other board members to participate in some of the NOFO planning for 2023. We are having currently bi-weekly meetings at 8 a.m. On Tuesdays. Marvin shaking his head, so I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
I know that it is a tough time to be there, but have been very grateful to those of you on the AC who have joined us and helped kind of prepare a lot of what we're going to talk about and present to you all. the calendar that we've kind of looked at is really in response to a lot of what we heard from many of you throughout the NOFO process in 2022, particularly the call to ensure that information is getting out in a more timely way, that you have plenty of opportunity to read and digest materials, the call to be in community and in projects and seeing what's going on for projects that we are looking to renew during the NOFO process. So we have a kind of drafted proposal of what that may look like to be able to get out into projects and checking in with folks who are accessing services, who have lived experience of these services. So we've incorporated that into the calendar as well. And we also have big, bold reminders of deadlines for KCRHA staff to be getting communication out to you all prior to each advisory committee meeting every month. So really wanting to build in those concrete deadlines and times based on a lot of the really great conversation and feedback that you all provided throughout this last NOFO process that I think still mentally processing it. Oh, thank you. I may ask Catherine if I may share my screen.
You sure can.
And I can move through this a little bit. Sent this all out to you last week and then invited all of you into the Smartsheet calendar to also view it and see it. So I will pull that up.
Are you able to share?
That I can.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, so here is my screen. I'm gonna put those down so I'm not, oh, that's why I'm seeing this. So we have this broken down by both quarter, so we can see what we're looking at on a quarter basis, but then also I have it broken down on a month-by-month basis. This is just preliminary, so we want to start looking at identifying responsible KCRHA staff who will be the ones making sure these tasks get completed. We have a list of who are we accountable to? Who ultimately needs to be the accountable body for this work happening and getting completed? Who needs to be consulted as we do all of this work? And who do we need to be informing? So you'll see that a lot of the kind of role responsibility areas as we go further into the year are still empty because we're working on those pieces. But want to kind of give you a overview of what we are looking at and then receive some feedback from you all of what's missing. What do we need to bring in here? And then really wanting to start working on identifying more people to bring to the table and bring in to the planning and execution of this work. So I've got my December tasks. Of course, our advisory committee, where I'm going to be sharing this calendar. I'll also give you a COC coordinator hiring update. Reviewing our NOFO application from last year of looking at what was easy for us to answer, what was harder or more challenging for us to answer, and then identifying what is the work that we outlined in the application that we need to make sure we are doing this year. We then want to be looking at identifying other team members and other AC members and community members to bring into doing some of the 2023 NOFO work, particularly around the call to do deeper product evaluation and getting better representation and better understanding of the experiences of those with lived experience who are accessing the programs that COC funds are supporting. Each month we have, again, the advisory committee meeting highlighted. I've also put suggested topics for KCRHA staff to make sure we are bringing to each of those meetings. so that we can give regular updates and have a really kind of better cadence of communication and update around all the NOFO and COC planning work as we go through the year. January is really going to be a planning and preparation month. Hoping to finalize the COC coordinator, getting others involved in the NOFO work. January is also when we will start talking with you all about the local values and priorities. Every year, we want to reevaluate those and reaffirm them or change things. So we want to bring that in January to ensure that the entire year is really informed by our local values and priorities. We'll then work on our program evaluation training to make sure that those who are involved in connecting with and talking with folks who are accessing programs are set, prepared. We have our goals and the things that we want to know, and we will work on kind of building that out with all of you. And that will be really informed by a lot of the work Jen and Shani have been doing over the last year with other requests for proposal processes and lessons learned in kind of the best ways to engage with folks who are accessing programs that doesn't feel exploitative or it doesn't feel transactional in some way. We really want to make sure that this is a process that we take on with compassion and heart and are really clear about both the intent of this, but also the impact on those in programs. So doing some planning and preparation in that. We'll then continue to kind of call out for community, for volunteers to participate in evaluations. This is going to be a huge lift. It's new that we want to do this year, and it will take a lot of time. I have projected for us to really dedicate about 2 months fully to doing project evaluations and have kind of a draft of what that may look like. Just for given time, I want to kind of go through the chunks of the quarters rather than kind of getting into the nitty-gritty detail. I'm happy to do that. So if you have questions and want to know, let me know and we can plan maybe for January for a longer period of time to talk about this. But I know you have quite a bit on your agenda today, so I don't want to take everything up. But February is again going to really be focused on like our preparation. So that is when we will call for a vote on the values and priorities that we work on in January, as well as beginning the intent to renew process. So asking all of the current projects receiving COC funds if they will be renewing or seeking to renew in the 23 NOFO. And new last year, HUD allowed COCs to bring in tribal liaison work and to include tribes within the COC in that application. We had about a month notice of this last year, which was not a lot of time to work on relationship. So that is a goal of 23 is to really build out tribal relationship and work with those who are located in our COC geographic area if they want to partner with us. So that is something that we are really hoping to kind of start laying that groundwork and launching in early 23. March again, we will be prepping. This is when we want to start looking at the rating and ranking tool and how we rate projects. We want to be able to work on this to have completed by May, so well before the NOFO is launched. So this will be when we first kind of introduce what last year's process was like, bring in some research around other ideas and other processes so that we can kind of collectively do work together to determine how it is that we want to rate and rank projects for this coming year's NOFO. April is going to be a lot of doing. This is where we will be focused on project evaluation and tool reevaluation, so the rating and ranking. So this is going to be, we've got folks in projects, having conversations, talking to people, and at the kind of parallel process of evaluating the rating tool and, you know, seeing what works, what represents what we want to understand about projects, and making presentation to you all about what we're finding as we go along the way. So April will have an update on project evaluations and the tool re-evaluation. May, we are hoping to review with all of you findings from project evaluations. And that's also when we hope to bring to you all an update on rating and ranking, with hoping to have a vote on our final rating and ranking tool in June. June is also the projected date of when HUD will send us what is called the grant inventory worksheet. So the list of all the projects that will be up for renewal and all of the money that we can be renewing for the COC. This is also when we hope to send out the application for all those projects, so we can begin having some of that process with currently funded providers. Q3 is the NOFO will be released. I looked at the last 6 years of when the NOFO was released and when it was due to create kind of a projected timeline. My best guess, based on those 6 years, is we may get the NOFO in early July with a likely due date of the end of September. So that would give us about 2.5 months of the writing and ensuring we meet all of those HUD check boxes that, you know, while not always the most fun, are the red tape we gotta make sure that we abide by. So this will have a lot of heavy NOFO related work. So doing the rating and ranking, we will ask for the advisory committee to vote on the rating and ranking in August. We will also start working on the project renewals, as well as the consolidated application, which is also called Exhibit 1. We will start that work in July. In August, we will give a detailed review of the rating and ranking, as well as an overview of the NOFO. So anything new in terms of HUD priorities, what the bonus funding is all about, that will be discussed in August. And we will aim that by the end of August, we will send a full draft of the consolidated application to the advisory committee for a vote in September. We will then work to finalize the application for any, you know, ensuring we're answering all the questions clearly, correctly, informing of grantee awards that we are submitting to HUD. And then we will get this thing posted publicly and sent into HUD at the end of September. October, we're going to rest and recuperate because it's going to be a long summer. And then we'll jump back in to NOFO work in November to do a debrief. We want to have a full advisory committee debrief and kind of begin some planning and strategizing of our goals for 2024 and develop this timeline again for 24 so that we have really clearly in front of us what is our work for the coming year and what are the expectations and work with the advisory committee in order for us to get this done. So that is a lot of me talking. So I want to pause and see if there are any questions, responses from all of you.
Sorry, you want to stop sharing? Because I can't.
Oh, and I will stop sharing my screen so folks can see. I want to stop share. What am I doing?
Look at the
Oh,
top.
goodness. Thank you so much. Okay. Whew, that winded me a bit, y'all.
At this time, I don't see any hands raised.
Well, then I'll get this one started. The first piece is language. It's the Continuum of Care Board. It's not the advisory committee. Provider Advisory Committee has no jurisdictional power over the ratification of a piece of HUD funding. I want to be clear, and I don't like when we represent ourselves as something that we are not. It is a position we serve as for the RHA. It is a connecting point. It is not our working platform.
I will get all that language updated.
The other piece was, we mentioned the public community process. There are at least three times that we should be connecting with the community in a public process. And it should be the wider community, providers and everybody that is represented by representatives at the table that should be able to be updated and informed on the work that we're doing. I didn't notice that on the chart being represented under informed. I understand the need of other people internally that may need to be informed, but we think we're very clear that externally, we wanted people to be more engaged in the process as they saw fit, and you can only feel free to engage if you've been informed.
I will add that to the informed column, and I will, on this, bold any larger community meetings that we have here, so it's really clear on the timeline as well.
Something that was unique to our work last year is that the Regional Homeless Authority did not own all of the funded projects. We need to be able to update that we are now fully in receipt of all of the federally funded projects, so that the evaluation piece isn't shared, is not given to some, but not all.
So there are two exceptions to us having all the COC funding. One of them is we have about 6 projects that are direct grantees.
That's not in this discussion. It's all of the rest of them. We know of the direct funded ones. We actually addressed that. These guys were direct funded. They didn't do the same process that was applied to the rest of our list.
They did.
They did.
Yes.
Okay.
If they have COC funding, they have to go through the same NOFA process.
So we ranked them.
Yes.
We just simply didn't do what they.
We don't hold the funds as
We
KCRHA.
don't, right. So
And
that
then,
needs to be one of the things that we share and folks understand.
yes, that needs to be a coordinated process. And the other COC grants that we don't have yet transmitted to KCRHA are the permanent supportive housing grants. Those still sit with King County. We have a plan to bring those over throughout 23. And for the 23 NOFO, there will still likely be a handful of grants where King County is still the direct grantee and of those grants, but it's in the process of coming over to KCRHA. Yes, yeah. Yeah, but they also have to go through the same NOFO process. Yeah.
And I sometimes want to build clarity on what I hear from the board, which is it's not specifically the board members that we're bringing in, but it's the communities that they represent. Are they part of the discussion? Are we talking to folks that have engaged with programs that we fund and develop, that we have applied values and priorities, but we don't have an evaluation tool on outcomes. And programs that are shared with us that continuously behave poorly or have poor outcomes based on that are consistently refunded year after year after year without any check or balance on the process. So it's another one of the process pieces of making sure we get in there and have adequate time to, confirm what data we receive or feedback from on-site visits, working and talking with individuals and how we collect that. I'm just saying I didn't really see the acknowledgement in the timeline that allowed for that to take place. I often say if we start late, we never catch up.
Let me highlight that for y'all.
Okay.
So I'm going to share my screen again to talk about, I've been calling this project evaluations. And this is just a way for my brain to remember what this is. But this is the way of ensuring that we are talking to people accessing services of these projects. So this is something that, again, this is all preliminary. This is a draft, but have projected to do February through April. And this is, let me pull up this calendar. I have many calendars, y'all. It helps me stay organized. So my recommendation that I kind of built out and also talked with Marvin, you've been in some of those meetings. Tamara, you've been in some of these meetings. So please share your experiences and thoughts on this and how we got to this. So this is a calendar for February, March, and April to look at all of the projects that receive COC funding. And when we are, the goal is to set up, let me scroll over, dates to be either on site or having hybrid conversation. I am not doing this well. Hybrid conversations with folks in programs who are receiving services, who are in rapid rehousing, who are in scattered site leasing, who are, living at Avalon Place, who are accessing the youth engagement team and navigation diversion. We want to make sure we are having conversations with folks in those programs. And I have projected for us to start this in February with 10 projects. This is going to be a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of time. I have that the goal right now is for us to have 3 different groups of people that each group will have an advisory committee member, a part of that group, a KCRHA staff member, if that is what the advisory committee wants to see, other community members who want to volunteer to help with this evaluation, and other, folks doing this work to go and have these conversations with folks in these programs. This is the planning that we're doing in December and January of what are the questions we want to ask? What is the information we want to know? And then in February, start asking those questions.
Thank you.
So I have this timeline based on what seems feasible. For 3 groups to do this, each group would have about 3 to 8 visits a month in order for us to do all of this. So it is going to be a lot of work, especially in March and April. And that'll be the call to the advisory committee around, this is the call to action. Let's do it. Let's get it. Let's get in programs. Let's talk to community. Let's make sure that the voices of folks in these programs is really well represented in how we evaluate and rate projects. So this is kind of that projected recommended one. March, it's 25 programs. And then April would be 22 programs. So again, it might be a lot of work, y'all. It's gonna be busy. So
It's the good work.
yeah, it's the good work. Good work takes time.
Bill Curlin Hackett has typed a chat. And he's stating that he appreciates Tamara for mentioning RV,
Vehicle residency.
vehicle residency. Which, yeah, go ahead.
Says, I appreciate Tamara bringing up the lack of attention to vehicle residency, about which we have met previously with HUD consultants. Be clear that advocates are pursuing state legislative action to ameliorate and the harm being generated by cities. I am, sorry, my eyes are struggling.
I'm
I am transitioning.
transitioning out of street outreach, replacements, interviewing, and will be dedicating time ahead to advocacy so necessary to change the onerous public leadership decisions, many of which are indeed violating state and city laws.
Thank you, Bill.
Thanks, Bill, and well said.
Any other questions regarding the NOFO 23 planning?
Scary question. I would like to rephrase that if we have spoken comment to what we have seen so far, I would offer that this is the call that was asked of leadership on the board to make sure that we were part of the design process in which we move forward. So if there's input about the design or the draft that we can move forward, we'd really like to be able to capture that.
And then just to speak to some of my experience in doing this last year, it was a heavy lift, but it was also so informative. And I think really educated me on what practices different projects are doing and the impact on communities that I've observed. And I absolutely want to concur with Marvin that some of these projects that have been funded continuously over the years have directly harmed my people. And so my goal then with this work is to kind of not revolutionize, although kind of, but like reframe how we do the work. Yeah. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. But my experience in doing this was I had a lot of fun looking at, applications and participating in the, tie breaking or assessing, strengths and weaknesses of programs as I was doing some of the review of applications. I'm really excited to participate with the site visits and to talk directly to people not influenced by the agencies that they're being served by. I want to talk directly to the people, and that's where we get the real-time information that we want to adjust how we fund projects. If they're not complying with I hate that word, but the values and priorities should be at the center of all the work that we do. And for projects who cannot actively demonstrate what they are doing to center community and racial equity in their operations, that's gonna be a huge hit to them, because that's what HUD and that's what our local continuum of care wants to see, and the definitely better outreach to LGBTQ, IA2+. So I think we have a lot of work to do, but it doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to be dreadful. It can actually be fun, and you get to set course for our homeless response system to follow, I guess, a line of, just to reframe the homeless response system as one that is, oh, sorry, my work phone. One that's more responsive to the needs of people and not so much the needs of government or programs. That wasn't very articulate, but that's kind of just encouraging folks to recruit people from the community with who have lived experience or who represent different systems. Because the more insight we have to the process, the better our response system is going to be for people who are the most vulnerable.
I don't see any hands.
Okay, if there are other questions, as always, feel free to reach out to Shanae or I or Tamara, and we can share what we know about this particular process and how we want to see it going forward. Just before moving on, we do have two other topics. I wanted to offer that educating the wider community was also hopefully part of what we do, so that programs that normally did not have access to federal funding got the support that they needed so that they could engage in the process on equal footing with others. So I'll probably reach out to the Smarchies to ask where that is. So moving,
COC coordinator update.
COC coordinator.
Awesome. All right. Before I even get into that, I have to just extend my deep gratitude to Karen, who has been a part of our interview panel for the COC coordinator. Thank you, Karen, so much for being there and for just always coming with the best questions. This process is so much more just centered in ensuring that this role is community oriented because of you being a part of it. So just thank you. Want to lead with that.
You're welcome.
We have been interviewing folks and we will continue to do some interviews throughout the rest of December. The goal is to bring the top kind of 2 to 3 candidates, maybe 4. We'll see how many folks just kind of really spark something. And then invite members of the AC to kind of have a little meet and greet with each candidate to see, you know, get your input. Because this is someone who we're really, part of their role will be to be a liaison between KCRJ work and COC board. So want to make sure that there is a relationship established from the get-go. So as we kind of continue with interviews, we'll be identifying folks and the hope is that in early January, I'll set some kind of second round interviews and then invite AC members who are available and interested to attend those to ask questions that you all may have. So thinking of things that are and will be important for the coordinator in terms of the work that they will be doing at KCRHA as well as with you all. So that aim for hearing more from me about dates and times in early January in order to, you know, hopefully bring in someone really, really great to be working with us all, hopefully before the end of January. But that is my hope. So we are actively working on the hiring and interviewing for the first round of candidates. And yeah, it's been going well so far.
SPC update.
Next, just a quick follow-up. I want to make sure we have the actual context for our involvement, not as the advisory committee, but actually the Continuum of Care Board. Is it the position of the RHA to actually bring on board someone that the Continuum of Care Board has not said, given its approval on? Is this going to be a principal accountable relationship, or are we going to just simply have to work with the collaborative lead agencies out there?
It will be the collaborative lead agencies hire. From my understanding of the role, it is a KCRJ employee.
Just make sure that we capture that in the notes, because that's how we memo write. Because if there's a request such as a principal accountable relationship, which we hire our own staff, it's not hired for us.
Yeah.
We may need to have a conversation.
Yeah, it is a KCRHA staff to be employed to provide support for the KCRHA continuum of care related work.
So will the LEC be part of that hiring process?
That's another question.
Yeah, we are welcome to include that in that process.
Well, I think
haven't-
that's what they're there for, right? They should be involved in the hiring process, making sure that the equitable people are being hired. The KCRHA just likes to hire anybody, and the LEC is in place to make sure that that doesn't happen, and that there's really the theory of change is put to usage in regards to lived experience being put first, right?
Yeah.
And that hasn't always been the case. So when we're hiring people in these positions to come work with the LEC or the COC, I need those policies and procedures for the hiring process to be in place, right? Like right now you have Karen, right? Karen's with you, sitting in these interviews, asking hard questions that y'all don't even know to ask. I need the same thing happening for the people who are being held accountable at the LEC or here at the COC if you want one of our board members up in there. But again, we need to be part of those processes, whether it's advising or showing up and having a person there.
And I will defer a response on that to others who are more attuned to those internal policies than I right now.
It's not in
Yeah.
the room, and
Yeah.
he can't speak to that process.
Yeah,
Okay. We'll follow up.
cool.
All righty. Any other questions? Well, we'll move on to the System Performance Committee update. Tamara, you take the lead on that one?
Sure thing. So we had our planning meeting earlier this morning. And unfortunately, Christy wasn't able to make it. So it was me and Janelle and a couple other KCRHA staff. So we discussed the fact that we've got 2 applications in now for the System Performance Committee meeting or subcommittee membership, and they're both from King County. And so it's been out for a couple of weeks now, and we're thinking that we need kind of some support in promoting and marketing the subcommittee to the public. Because we don't want it to just be government. We don't want it to be just lived experience or just providers. We need a robust, well-rounded performance subcommittee that will help us redesign the metrics for our system, help us, interpret some of the data that we're getting or figure out what data we need to start getting. So some help with getting the word out would be helpful. And some other projects that we'll have to approve or have the board vote on in January is the the HMIS work plan and some other projects are like setting policies and procedures for agencies that want to start using HMIS but don't necessarily have a funding or contract with KCRHA. So those are some of the side projects that we're working on. Well, they're not really side projects, but we're trying to recruit everyone who is interested, not just in data, but also in redesigning how we view and operate as a whole to end homelessness in Seattle and King County. And one of the things that I'm super excited about is that in my role as co-chair of that board, I'm going, and as a board member here, I'm going to North Carolina next week to participate in the inaugural Wellbeing Summit for Full Frame Initiative, who we know has already been approved by the board to come on board and help us, help us center well-being into our program design and our mission, our collective mission to end homelessness and support people, not just fixing their problems, but supporting people and actualizing and realizing their hopes and dreams and making it more of a relational process than just a top-down hierarchical decision-making process. So so we'll have to review the work plan in advance of January, and I think Janelle will send that out. There's also some work on client record request. So for folks who want to see the case notes or like what services or programs are being documented in their file, we're trying to find a way to help people do that. Because it is their right, it is their information, and we are accountable to the community. So, also we had a discussion about how our work is shared. It's not the responsibility of one entity to address homelessness in our communities. It's everyone's responsibility. So KCRHA, the COC board, other stakeholders, we can't end the problem alone. We have to be in collaboration and partnership with each other. And so the way we can do that is to collectively redesign our system with the leadership of people with lived experience at the forefront, 24/7, 7 days a week, however many days there are in a year, 350, 365. So yeah, so that's a bit of an update from Sister Performance Committee, and I will be sure to bring back any notes, materials from the Wellbeing Summit next week. But I will be featuring and highlighting the work that our board is doing to flip the script on how services and programs and all things homeless related, how they are delivered to the community. So what feedback and what action planning that I participate in down there, I will be sure to bring back to our board, because I'm going to do a lot of bragging about us. I'm going to do a lot of bragging about how innovative we are and how our COC board is recognized, you know, maybe not, I think nationally, as one of the most diverse boards with folks with lived experience. And that sets us apart from other COCs in the nation who may not look like we do. And so I think that's awesome. It comes with its challenges, obviously, but I think it's really cool that we already have that reputation in the country for being super awesome, really. So that's what I want to lift up, and I will continue lifting up and bringing back knowledge and resources to this team. And that is my update.
Thanks, Tamara. Are there any questions from the board members? Any questions in the community for follow-up?
I don't see any.
All righty. That takes us to our next agendized item, and that is, as irreverently as written as possible, our Continuum of Care retreat that we will be doing in January. Unless January 12th or January 19th were where we left off this conversation before. I would simply like to offer that on the 19th, I believe, is the first governing board meeting for 2023. The 12th, however, is an open day. We can do a day-long event. And I'm going to ask Catherine to float around an email following the meeting. If anyone has any blocks, please let us know. We're working from the position that it's in person, all day, meals provided, and transportation to and from is determined. If there's more that should be part of the planning, please let us know. All right. Then what we didn't cover in board maintenance, but I want to bring up now because I don't want us to walk away from this without having thought about it. Our role as an advisory committee for the King County Regional Homeless Authority is that we advise both the implementation board and governing board. Those meetings are scheduled twice a year. There are only 4 opportunities to meet with quarterly the governing board. However, there's only 6 for the implementation board. And we should give serious thought to how we extend that invitation in January. So we don't go another whole year without connecting with the other boards that should be part of this continuum of care.
I have a question from an anonymous attendee. Has the COC board decided that KCRHA will not be holding a pit count in 2023?
I believe if you're joining us late, at the beginning of the meeting, Shanae has acknowledged that the team of care board at present is challenging the pit count, how it was done, and is waiting a response from the RHA of how we will move forward. It is part of our listed subcommittee work. One of our subcommittees should be involved in the pit count. It hasn't the previous year where we found out that we had to do one because the year before we did not do a pit count. So I don't know if that directly answers that in a way, but you may.
Well, I just want to add to that, Marvin. You should know that we don't have a choice in the point in time count. It is a HUD requirement.
Oh, yeah.
What we do have a choice in is who does it, how it's done, and what methods they're using in order to do it, right? So that's where the advisory board is going to come in and advise them on and let them know, like, hey, this is a better way, this is best practices. And that's also what we're questioning right now is the last point in time count for 2022 was not something that we were advised on. That's something that King County Regional Homeless Authority did on their own standing without the checks and balances in place. And so please know as a board, we're going to hold them accountable for that. And we're still asking for the details of that point in time count. Again, like who did it, where the algorithm was, how did we even appoint this person to do that? And moving forward with the point in time count again is a HUD requirement in 2023. The advisory committee hopes to have more of a control and advisement on who and where and how that's happening. Let us know if that answered your question.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, it did.
Thank you. Yeah. Did you hear that, Shanae? Yeah. So moving forward to the next agenda item. There is a question. Well, I'm offering that in what we heard today, there's an opportunity, maybe we want to get around and support developing the calendar for next year. Doesn't necessarily have to be a public meeting until we adopt it. However, maybe we assign a work group or figure out a date to where we can be supportive of that work and folks have an opportunity to weigh in a more what I consider autonomous space, so that the community, that the work gets done and we get started off on the right foot. So I am open to a motion to set up a workshop meeting space for work on that. If we're interested in doing so.
This is Christina. I move that we set up a workshop to discuss this. And I'm not exactly sure what you're meaning by workshop, but a meeting to discuss this.
Okay, to answer thank you for the motion. The clarity is that under our Public Meetings Act here, we can conduct educational workshops to learn more about processes in which we are involved. It's not a gathering of the board. It is an opportunity for members to actually take advantage of educational awareness and put forth or invest ideas to how this is set up as we move forward with the plans for next year within the HUD, the federal funded community that receives funds. So I've got a motion.
Second.
And a second. So
no, I need a second.
Oh, you need a second. I'll second. I can't second, I'm chair. Okay. Well, I think I still can. I didn't. No, but I was going to be a nice guy and give time back to our folks today. But let's not kill anything.
I'll take your second, Marvin. All those in favor?
Come off mute and say aye.
Aye.
With the baby
Aye.
not getting paid for a little while.
Aye.
Members, can I get a voice vote from you on the motion by Christina and seconded by Marvin to have a workshop to, I lost my words.
To
Discuss the point in time.
discuss.
To discuss point in time count.
Aye.
How old is the
Aye.
baby?
Say again.
For,
Aye.
one more. I need one more.
Shanae,
Mhm.
Shanae, sir?
Oh, Shanae didn't say anything yet.
Shanae, can we get a aye? Or nay,
Or Karen.
or Karen?
I need to know, refresh me with what you want the aye or the nay for, please.
To do a workshop so that we don't lose traction on the pit count requests that we have made and who to challenge. Yes,
A workshop on what? The pit count?
yes.
Honey, how many times have I told you guys, you don't need to count them people outside no more to know that homelessness is increasing. It's not decreasing. And it's too many people getting paid off of it. So I'm not for no pit count. So my vote would be nay.
Shanae?
I do want to make it clear that like it is a HUD requirement, so it sounds like we can't get out of doing the pit count, but it sounds like the workshop that we're proposing is to have a conversation about like best practices and how it can be done in a way that harms the least amount of people.
Well, I think that the HUD, as I said earlier, need to start coming to these meetings themselves. So we could tell them what I just told you guys, and I've said it before in other meetings. They need to come to the meeting and understand why we don't need another pit count. That is just a formulation of numbers and basic harassment, because the people don't want to be counted. They don't want to be surveyed. They don't want to be talked to. They want to be housed, right? So I'm just like, cut it. They need to cut all that. They need to cut all that long-winded stuff. We need to get to action and get these people off the streets. It's winter time. I'm not for no pit count. So my vote is no.
Fair enough. So I think I got, I'm clear on where we stand now. Hopefully we can pick this up as we have further discussions and we bring on more folks. And I will work with Shanae in making sure we track along any responses towards our questions to the pit, to the board.
It's a waste of money and resources that could be used to house people and used on the people that's on the ground freezing. It's a waste of money and time and bodies. So, you know, I'm just really against that. We need to get past that.
Moving forward to our last, are there any other any committee discussions we want to carry over or discuss, or any next steps you want to offer your chairs as we prepare to head into the new year? Thank you, everyone, for attending today. It is now 3:45. Would feel like giving a Christmas gift, such as giving 15 minutes back to everyone's busy day. Thank you for joining us. Meeting is adjourned. I was searching for that.
Bye, everybody.